About a week ago, Iran's top nuclear scientist and the creator of their nuclear program, Mohsen Fakhrezadeh, was assassinated, allegedly with AI technology. Is it possible that artificial intelligence has reached a stage where it can be used to operate weapons, assassinate people? Is this where technology is headed? This video is all about understanding AI in the context of this assassination and figuring out what happened. Hi, this is Ian Khan, your host. Last week, Iran suffered a massive blow due to the assassination of its top nuclear scientist who was leading many different nuclear programs in Iran, and he also founded Iran's nuclear program. He was assassinated, and it took 3 minutes for everything to go down. In 3 minutes, everything was over. Now, this is not a political commentary or understanding who's right and who's wrong, who assassinated Mr. Fakhrezadeh. This video is about understanding technology, understanding was AI really used for this assassination. Now, Iran has come out with a statement that Mr. Fakhrezadeh was assassinated with a remote-operated machine gun that worked on artificial intelligence. Could this be true? And why would they say this? In this video, we'll look at what artificial intelligence technology is capable of. Can it operate remote weaponry, really assassinate someone with such precision? And what is the state of weapons development, its connections to our technology, especially artificial intelligence? And is this really possible in 2020? Today, AI is probably one of the fastest growing technologies, heavily invested in. Everybody is looking into it. And AI has come out of the closet, and it's being actively worked on by military, private organizations, enterprises. Everyone is looking at AI and developing it actively. That is a fact. AI has come out of the closet and come out of the lab, and its applications are now being seen in the real world. But is war one of them? One of the things with AI is that it's a broad term to talk about. Hundreds of different things can happen with technology: voice recognition, image recognition, surveillance states, automated operation of machinery, robotics. These are all things that can potentially use artificial intelligence. What about weapons and weaponry? Yes, it can. What about technology in warfare to gain an advantage? Yes, it can use artificial intelligence. All of these things are possible. If you are an avid moviegoer, then you probably have seen movies such as Mission Impossible, Minority Report, Ex Machina, and others. Here's why these films give us a peek into the future of warfare and how it's connected to this assassination. Let's look at Mission Impossible. The Mission Impossible series of films starring Tom Cruise introduced us to some really cool technology, for example, touch screens, gestures. Remember Tom Cruise putting on these cool gloves and then working with different screens, touching different areas of different screens and finding out what's happening with crime and finding gangsters? Well, that technology is very much real, and it uses touchscreen technology. It uses some really cool graphics and gesture-based gloves that are not a big deal today. Gesture technology is being used on cell phones. You can use gesture technology on your tablet. You can use gesture technology on a tablet. It's a very basic level of technology. And what they do in Hollywood films is to make it look great. And of course, when you have Tom Cruise in the movie, it all makes sense. Number two, remember how the twins in the Minority Report were tapped into a system and they were dreaming things and predicting things. That technology is not here yet. Well, not in the mainstream at least. We're not able to read people's minds and thoughts, and we're not there yet. So that's a little bit of a futuristic scenario. Number two, Mission Impossible. Another Tom Cruise film is Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise plays a spy in this series of film, and it does incredible stunts, such as breaking into secure facilities, changing his voice, changing his face, and essentially using something of voice recognition technology, advanced makeup technology, and to do things that he needs to do. Did the film feature artificial intelligence? Not really, and I haven't personally seen AI being used in that film. And it's got nothing to do any of that, but it's got to do with some other technologies. combined many different things. Hollywood makes us see incredible stuff that is sometimes not real. The last the last film I wanted to talk about is Ex Machina. And now we're getting a bit advanced. In Ex Machina, a scientist develops a robot that has consciousness, and the robot behaves like a human. It has emotions and this robot it thinks precisely like a human being, which is something that we haven't seen in the other movies. We didn't see robots behaving like humans, feeling like humans, and doing things like humans. And this is where the differentiator is. This is where this movie is really advanced and much closer to something of robotics, AI, emotions, getting machines to think, which is what we expect artificial intelligence to be. In the mainstream, we have nothing like this happen right now, where machines and robots have a consciousness. And we're not there yet, because this is a really, really futuristic scenario and technology is not there yet. But having said that, how much of that can be true if it's AI? Is AI really that advanced that it can do that amount of thinking right now? That is a question that needs to be answered. So how much of Ex Machina and the robot in that film uses artificial intelligence? This robot is all about artificial intelligence. It's about using data to think, to process information, using data to make decisions. And that consciousness that comes into the robot is AI. Now, let's go back now to the definition of AI and what it is now. First of all, in order to have a working AI, how does artificial intelligence really work in a machine that can make decisions, that could think, that can analyze, that can feel, that can have emotions? So first of all, you've got to have data. You've got to be able to train artificial intelligence technology on what to identify, what to look for, what is the outcome from that system. And I'm talking in very broad terms to keep it really, really simple. AI works on programming technology, and then giving it data, feeding it data so that it recognizes patterns, it recognizes series, it recognizes what it should be looking for. And that's kind of the baseline, the bottom line of artificial intelligence. Think about telling AI technology about the difference between an apple and an orange, right? You've got to train AI on what is an apple and what is an orange. How does an apple taste and how does an orange taste? How do you peel an apple and how do you peel an orange? What can you do with these things? You can consume them, you can eat them, you can slice them and eat them. You can throw these things at someone else. Like, all of these different things need to be fed to technology for it to make sense of different things. So AI is not this incredible thing where you just you just tell your computer what to do, or this technology what to do, and off it goes, creating havoc and assassinating people. At this moment in time, AI is unable to do things on its own and think, because we need to understand what era of artificial intelligence are we in. So there's three distinct eras of artificial intelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence, which is something what Siri does, what Bixby does, what these voice recognition things do. They just do one task. They execute very simple tasks, and that's what artificial narrow intelligence is. And there's a huge connection of this with this assassination. So we've got to be able to understand what AI is in the first place and where it is right now. So in the mainstream, and I'm talking about the world's most advanced universities, I'm talking MIT, Harvard, Yale, University of Toronto, I'm talking the world's greatest researchers, the stuff that they're working on, and where we are with respect to artificial intelligence. The first one, artificial narrow intelligence, that's where we are. That's where we are. And AI, as it's called as well, has many different things happening underneath it. There's hundreds of different things within artificial narrow intelligence that are, again, applications of artificial intelligence. The next step is artificial general intelligence. This is the bigger, more intelligent AI, where now AI is able to communicate with other devices, other systems. It's able to make decisions on its own. It's able to calculate things on its own. And this is where machines now have an intelligence, and they can, that scenario where robots take over, this is kind of that scenario, but not quite, but we're there. And this is artificial general intelligence. Scientists say that we are not there yet, and it might take us anywhere between 5 to 7 to 10 years to start getting into artificial general intelligence, where computers are so intelligent that they do their own thing. So we're not there yet. And the third stage is artificial superintelligence, or ASI. And this is the time that nobody is looking forward to. Scientists are not looking forward to this. The world's greatest minds are not looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward to this time, because this is the era where technology takes over. Technology automates everything. Technology takes over mankind and humankind. And that's what this era is all about, artificial superintelligence. Hopefully, we are able to control technology and how we work with it and how AI works by then, which is, who knows when that era will arrive, artificial intelligence. Let's talk about this assassination. So Mr. Fakhrezadeh gets assassinated. Which technology do you think did this? Do we think that it was a system that was all thinking, and somebody put that system out there, that weaponry out there, and it just automatically did everything, right? I don't think so. I think that's way too advanced, way far too advanced, and so we've got to rule that out. Number two, could it be a possibility that it was a system that was semi-thinking? It was a system that was taught on many different data models of assassinating people, of killing people, of hitting its target. And then it kind of read that pattern and then assassinated Mr. Fakhrezadeh. Really, really hard to do. There's so many moving parts to this situation. There's a fast moving car. There's people firing bullets and shooting each other. And then all of a sudden, this technology should recognize Mr. Fakhrezadeh, aim at him, fire at him, and then kill him. Very hard to do under current circumstances without human intervention, and that's where the state of technology is right now. I don't believe it's possible to do that right now with where artificial intelligence is. And so the number three scenario is this a case where artificial intelligence was not used at all, and we used that word, or whoever used that word, because there's no other word to use. Maybe some kind of automation was used, some other technology was used. It was very high tech. It was a high tech system, and but it was not artificial intelligence. I'm going with that for now, and we'll see what systems could they have used, and if it has a connection with AI, or what does it have a connection with. Let's look at that. Going back to our main story, we're looking at the assassination of Mohsen Fakhrezadeh, Iran's top nuclear scientist and head of Iran's nuclear program, who was assassinated a week ago. Now, Iran suggests that artificial intelligence was used in this assassination, and I'm not sure if I would go with that. I would say it's a lack of understanding of what AI technology does, and to have a reality check, AI is not there. That's what we're analyzing in this video. I would rather suggest that this was a combination of a remote operated weapon system where someone, a remote operator, and that remote operator could be sitting 100 meters away from you, or a kilometer away from you, or thousands of kilometers away. And that discovery was operated by a remote operator who had access to a visual identification system or a camera system that was attached to this advanced weaponry, because it can now see what it's targeting. Now, we know that the US military, other militaries, advanced military and weaponry uses digital optics and optical technology to see things and to target things. And so the old-fashioned scope, the optical, 100% optical scope, is kind of out of fashion as well, and digital technology has now changed that. Remember your old good friend, your cell phone? Our cameras here are really, really advanced, and we can zoom in and zoom out and do all these cool things. So why not military? Military can do that. Secret agencies can do that. Organizations that have access to money to develop weapons can do that. The machine gun that was used I don't believe it would be an ordinary machine gun, an AK-47, or something else, but it has to be a very precise military-grade system that is able to take a shot and it hits the target 100% of the time. This is custom developed military hardware. This is custom developed assassination hardware that's clearly designed for such an application. Precision is very important because they say that Mr. Fakhrezadeh was assassinated and he was shot, and the shots didn't hit his wife, who was sitting 10 inches away from him. So the shots were really, really precise. And so it's got to be a very accurate and precise system that hit him. So we've got specific hardware, specific machinery, or the actual weapon. We have an optical system that can clearly identify a target. We can have facial recognition here. Now, if you want to talk about artificial intelligence, if this system is let's say technologically advanced, it can definitely have facial recognition that would recognize the face of the target in this case, and tell the operator or that this is a match, and it can do that. That is a possibility. That's not 100%, I would say, artificial intelligence, but it's facial recognition technology that definitely can use big data. It can use a lot of cloud technology, a lot of power behind it, and it can also use artificial intelligence for sure. So it's a combination of different technologies. One big factor for all of this to work is connectivity. Connectivity with this entire assembly has to be somehow connected to a different system on the other side. If there's an operator, if there's someone who's viewing all of this remotely, operating all of this remotely, and so there has to be connectivity between this weapon system and the operator. And we're assuming this is not a fully automated system, but somebody's controlling it. And for that, you can't have a sketchy edge system or a 3G system or even an LTE system. Talk about internet connectivity in Iran and in many parts of the world. It's not 100% reliable. So you would have to use maybe satellite communication, maybe point-to-point communication technology, laser-based point-to-point communication technology, essentially using laser beams to connect from one point to the other and sending data and information and basically viewing through that viewfinder what's happening. And and probably the operator is not located far off, maybe a kilometer away, maybe. We've got to keep in mind that latency is a challenge in this, is a big factor in this situation, and you can't be late. You can't have a delay of 5 seconds because this is happening. Remember, three minutes. Everything was done in 3 minutes. Like people, these guys ambushed the motorcade of Mr. Fakhrezadeh. They fired shots. They assassinated him. Some of them got, I think, all of them got killed. And then there was a huge explosion. We'll talk about that in a second. So we're talking connectivity. Connectivity has to be prime because now your data is changing information. So you've got to have access to a high military grade, high grade communication system. And although I'm not a weapons expert, I'm not here to talk about, I'm not a military expert. I'm purely looking at this from a technology perspective, and I'm trying to bust the idea that this was a system using artificial intelligence. So let's look at the software side of it, or thing. As far as I'm concerned, if this system was equipped with AI, then it's making its own decisions, it's making its calculations, it's doing a bunch of different things that are automated. And I think it's really, really hard to do that under the current state of AI and the current state of technology. Robotics, yes, it's possible. A combination of robotics, face recognition technology, laser communication technology, it is very much possible. Here's my final analysis. There's three possibilities coming out of this in terms of what technology system was used. First of all, and by the way, after this assassination was successfully done, the van that was carrying the entire assembly of machinery, machine gun, exploded, so no trace of anything left. So there's also a remote detonation that's happening, which is not a big deal given today's date and age. It's something very common. First of all, the hardware has to be really precise, sniper level hardware connected with low latency communication technology. It has to be specialized weaponry. It cannot be just ordinary machine guns that are fitted with a camera, and this has to be specifically developed for this purpose. I would suggest that anyone who is in the business of assassinating people has a lot of money to spend on such research, and they've got it all figured it out right. Number two, connected with a low latency communications system, whether that's a remote operator using it from 100 meters away or a kilometer away or 10 kilometers away, 10,000 kilometers away, it has to be low latency. I don't believe having it operate on a cell phone system would work. So it's got to be laser-based system. It's got to be some other military-grade technology that was used. Next one up is precision, and the optics behind this device have to be world-class. It's got to be a system that connects the target with what the operator has to see, and this has to be really precisely calibrated, really high-quality, error-free system, because you're literally assassinating people, and you want to be accurate when you're doing that. It's so terrible. It's so terrible that this is what the world has come to. And on the software part, we're looking at, and I don't believe it was artificial intelligence, it's more of a very precise hardware communications technology, optical technology, and I would rule out AI to a huge extent unless it was used for facial recognition. It's unfortunate that the world we live in is full of chaos, war, and countries and people are trying to get ahead and hurt others. It's very unfortunate that the use of technology to do this is happening, and to use it for destructive purposes is terrible. As a technologist, as a futurist, I really am saddened by the fact that we are a race of people who can kill each other, we can destroy each other, and we can see things being destructed in front of us, whereas we are fighting a common war today. We're looking at the COVID-19 pandemic, and the entire world has been impacted by that. I wish the world was a better place. I wish we could do good, more good than bad. I wish we could focus on helping each other and solving problems rather than creating problems, hurting each other. At the end of the day, we all are human. At the end of the day, we're all doing similar things, eating similar foods. We're all made from the same thing. And to hurt each other, to assassinate people, to kill people, it's a terrible and heinous crime. This channel is all about analyzing technology. Subscribe to my channel to understand events that are impacting us, to look at things in an unconventional way, and to understand the world we live in from a technology perspective. You take care. Make sure you visit my upcoming documentary, Artificial Intelligence, The Next Frontier's website, AI-thenextfrontier.com. It's coming out in 2021, and it's about the story of AI. It's what AI is all about, what is it doing right now, and where are we headed. This is a new documentary, and it's going to be out next year. Visit AI-thenextfrontier.com. Hey friends, take care for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you send this video to your friends, you subscribe to my channel, and stay updated, stay relevant, and stay informed. Take care.